Hi friends, it's time for a new video. I've wanted to create a mini-series covering how I create my ball jointed dolls for some time now, but I've never really dared to do so, and I think it's time to change that now. This will not be a set of tutorials, but I will basically show you how I go about things when I sculpt dolls. I will try to include as much information as I can about my process, and I hope you'll enjoy the videos to come. For the purpose of these videos, I decided to start working on my next complete doll project, Kostya Moldovan. In case you didn't know already, Kostya is my favorite character from the Fenrir Chronicles, a fantasy story me and my friend Sandra are working on together. He's also my favorite doll in my private collection of bought dolls. He's my Zoom Chrome, who's gone through multiple changes over the years. The reason why I decided to sculpt Kostya when I already have him home as another doll is because he's outgrown the Chrome sculpt, and I felt the need to create my own version of him in doll form. And no matter what, the Chrome gets to stay anyway, because it's one of my absolute favorite sculpts. I'll just give him a different character, I think. So, what am I doing in this video? I'm preparing the core for the new doll. Before recording anything, I sketched out Kostya's basic body shape roughly on a large piece of paper to make sure that I made the core in an ideal size. In this case, around 70 centimeters. I wanted a pretty large doll in this case. After the sketch was done, I pulled out a huge plastic bag and sprayed some joint foam in the shape of a 70 centimeter tall doll on it, which looked pretty goddamn funny. Joint foam is usually used for very different things, mostly I think when you build things or work on houses, stuff like that. But my very clever friend Nattmaran told me it can be used as cores for dolls. And I really wanted to try it because before this I used mostly aluminium foil, which is a hazel to get out of a doll once you open the doll up and want to, remove the core. So I really wanted to try this joint foam thing. I had never heard anyone else use it, so it felt like a good idea. I had no idea what to expect from the joint foam, but it turns out it was really fun to spray with. If I could, I'd spray it all day long and never do anything else, but that's not really productive, so oh well. Anyways, it's soft, it's sticky like super glue. If you decide to try it, don't play around with it and try not to get any on your hands. When it dries, it's pliable and it's relatively soft, which means you can sort of move the doll around a bit if you need to change things. It took around 3 or 4 hours for the foam to dry, and I had to turn it over once to make sure that the back of it dried as well. And what you're seeing in this video is what happened after that. I started cutting it roughly with a mini saw, going after the sketch I mentioned before. And when that was done, I went over to using my trusty scalpel to get the correct shapes that I wanted. Just removing tiny bits and pieces that were too much of a hassle to get with the saw. I decided to sculpt the doll as a statue first to get the proportions of the doll and character right. My first doll, Ask, I sculpted him in pieces, and I really don't recommend that to anyone. It's a pain in the butt trying to get everything to look right. When I had the core ready, I started adding clay to it. I've tried to use different kinds of clay, but I'm currently using an air drying clay called Das. It works just like La Doll or Premier, two of the most popular doll sculpting clays, but it's a bit on the heavier side and way cheaper. La Doll is difficult to get your hands on in Sweden, so getting Das was plan B, but it's worked very well for me. I ran out of clay at the end of this and was unable to get my hands on more since my local store didn't have Das anymore for some godforsaken reason. I didn't feel like mixing in a different kind of clay, so this will be it for this video, and I will have to get some more Das ASAP. I will continue working on Kostya and post more videos on his progress, so stay tuned for more. Bye bye!